Hi, my name is Alexis Cuban, and this is my experience learning and working at Voices for Safer Tennessee. At the start of the semester, Cannon suggested I looked into family foundations in Chattanooga to diversify our fundraising. So I did. I spent hours manually researching and building a list, thinking if I just worked hard enough, I could produce something useful. But I remember sitting there with dozens of foundations in front of me, realizing I had no idea which ones actually mattered. The process was slow, unclear, and not something the team could sustain after I left. That was the moment I realized the problem wasn't effort, it was the system itself. But the system was only half of what I was figuring out this semester. The other half was about how to approach hard conversations. Katie was the biggest reason for that shift. Especially given everything she's been through, her perspective changed how I think about influence. She doesn't force her views on people, she listens, she stays steady, and meets people where they are. In a space where conversations can be emotional, it made me realize real influence doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from understanding first. From a site perspective, human-centered design forced me to rethink my approach. I started trying to build the most comprehensive donor database possible, but I had to shift from what can I build to what will actually be used. That led me to create a system that prioritizes which organizations to focus on and automatically tracks what causes they've supported over time. It wasn't about having the most data, it was about having the right data in a way that the team could actually act upon. Actually building with AI, something I had never done before, pushed me to manage myself differently. I was unsure a lot of the time, there was no clear roadmap, I had to test different approaches and rely on trial and error. AI helped me think through the problems, but even that required judgment, and knowing where to start was often the hardest part of this whole thing. That reframed how I think about AI more broadly, through a systems thinking lens. I stopped seeing it as just a tool that generates output and started seeing it as part of a larger system, one where the technology is only as useful as the judgment guiding it and the people sustaining it. That's directly relevant to where I'm headed. Human capital consulting at KPMG, helping organizations adopt AI. What I learned at Voices from Safer Tennessee is that adoption isn't really about the tool. It's about whether the system around it works for the people using it. Compared to day one, the biggest difference is how I approach problems and people. I slow down, I check my assumptions, I ask more questions, and I actually listen. On my last day, my supervisor gave me a panda bracelet, which meant a lot because we both connect with what the pandas represent, both of our spirit animals. To me, it reflects something I learned this semester. Strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like staying steady, being thoughtful, and choosing how you show up. And that is something I will carry forward with me.